I'm gonna have to come up with a placard of things to hit. I can't keep. Cannot believe I keep doing that. I keep assuming because for years and years and years and years and years, I keep assuming that it's the camera mic, but it's not. It's me being what can I tell you? Um, yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I absolutely do need an assistant. Uh, it's been a good couple of days. I took a couple of days off. I watched the freaking Bengals. I knew the Bengals were due. I called it. And I was like, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, but I knew the Bengals were due. I knew it. But this is the thing, right? You vote your heart versus you vote and they both lost really weirdly too. So it's funny because just about the time my energy for this season football ran out about t- 10 to 15 minutes before the Bengals won and the Chiefs lost. Then I was like, I almost didn't even watch the next game. I played this game called Banner Lord, which was awesome. I played it yesterday trying to kind of like get my fighting skills up. I would play it for you, but everything the freaking strike in this world. So, um, I was trying to organize this place, get my music section absolutely right, and but instead I didn't do that. Instead, I stayed here, watched some stuff on YouTube. I don't know, man. I'm uh, I'm not as I'm not as what's balls to the wall as I used to be. I think it's hormonal, hormonal, cause hormones. But yeah, it's hormonal. Um, for men, we call it your metabolism slowing down. But essentially, whatever energy your system is normally outputting for you has begun to sort of slow down a tad or a touch. The next winter storm spans New Mexico to Vermont, and 85 million people are in its path. There's a new storm coming in. Wait, what is this now? I thought we ducked one with 4 inches of snow. Friday it's gonna rain. Yeah, we don't have any partly mostly cloudy. 62 degrees on Friday. Maybe that's when it's supposed to be snow. 44 today, 49, 63, 62. Bam, 35. Yep. All right. That's this weekend though. It's gonna be cold as balls on Saturday. But the rest of the week is fine. When is this storm supposed to be coming through here? I'm beginning to think that people just need something to report and they begin to just freak you out. Uh let's slide over here and get a little closer to the microphone. The next winter storm spans New Mexico to Maine, and 90 million people are in its path. Wait a minute, 90 million? The tags say 85 million. The next winter storm spans New Mexico to Vermont, and 85 million people are in its path. USA Today. And in Maine, and 90 million people are in its path. Doyle Rice, USA Today. 5:55 is Eastern Time, February 1st, 2020. Happy Black History Month. You notice I'm not even gonna I might get into I'm definitely gonna get into I'm just not gonna try I'm gonna try not to get into it now because it doesn't make any sense. Um shoot. I keep forgetting to plug that in. Oh, let's put this here. Uh yeah, all right. I've I've got one too many chairs, but not really. All right. So, a large sprawling storm will deliver a messy mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain to a large swath of central and eastern USA over the next few days. All right, so here the next few days looks warm and nice, and when it does rain, it's going to be 62 degrees on Friday, and then it's going to be 31 degrees Friday night. That's a 30-degree temperature drop. That's ugh, that doesn't make any sense. That's a 30-degree drop in a day. What? 35, 35, 50, 50, 50, 50, 58 at 9 a.m., 11 p.m. at 57, almost 60 degrees, 58 degrees at noon, 41 degrees at 3 p.m., 38 degrees at 4 p.m., 38 degrees up until 10:37. Yeah, all right. So somewhere along the bottom drops out right around about, what do you want to call this? 55 to 41 to 38. That's a 20-degree drop in 2 hours. So somewhere around 2 o'clock, the bottom falls out over here. Meanwhile, actually, I'm glad we didn't close that. Meanwhile, let's look up. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna miss us. All right. Mm. I'm really curious as about the weather still in Massachusetts, right? Didn't you guys get like 10 inches of snow? What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. I need a one of those. Put this here, and then go back to here. All right. So see, I'm about to slide down a weather rabbit hole. I'm not gonna do that. I actually need to turn my own temperature up. Uh so I'm layered because I had all the windows open at like 10 in the morning. Uh, had a hoodie on, had a hat, had it knitted on, had this thing on. Uh, trying to be productive. Ooh, I don't know how that happened. Are you 23 inches? Good lord, man. So all of a sudden, I'm a Mountain Dew guy. All my life, ginger ale. Likely because you can mix it with stuff. Now Mountain Dew. It's weird. Uh, I wonder how long it'll last. It's obviously a fad. I'm a weird guy. I will chip on Mountain Dew for maybe 3 or 4 months, and then I won't touch it again for 15 years. All right. The last time I did this, actually, it was with Diet. It was with, I don't drink Diet. It was with Dr. Pepper. All right. So I'm on a wild rant. What were we doing? We're not going to cover the weather. Um, Apartments for rent. Man says apartment approval was withdrawn after asking for landlord's references. Yeah, nobody's racist, but everybody keeps doing racist shit. It's 2022, and you're still not renting to people because of race, right? I mean, what do you want me to tell you, man? Going back to what we said, people are overmarching and all this other shit. Ugh. People are following Elon Musk's private jet. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. I don't care if he is famous and you're clever. So you're essentially tracking his private jet. I don't know if you should be doing, well, obviously, I know you should not be doing that, but that should not be legal. That should not be legal. Um, am I over here now? I forget where I'm supposed to be. Uh, I could just put the camera back where it was. Done. All right, now I can lean. All right. Destiny 2, The Witcher new weapons and gear look super powerful. All right. Two things happened this week. Microsoft bought Bethesda, right? And Sony bought who makes who did Sony buy? I want to say Sony bought Sony bought Bungie for 3.6 billion, which seems like a steal to me. It's a giant A-rated gaming house. Anyway, people are gobbling up stuff. Hey, let it be. How are you? I hope your weekend was good. Happy Black History Month. Happy kiss me. You can get your kiss me I'm black t-shirts out that everybody's gonna be wearing. Um I hate Black History Month. I do. I think it's a pointless thing. Uh so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take shots at Black History Month. Um some people hey, apparently I wasn't paying attention and Whoopi Goldberg said something that had to apologize to Jewish people, which I think is funny because her last name is Goldberg. She famously took it from this guy who was her mentor, right? She told that story 1,000 times. She's been famous since the 80s. She was the female version of, supposed to be the female version of Eddie Murphy, right? Eddie Murphy was lightning in a bottle, remember? He was on Saturday Night Live as a star when he was 18. They were going to cancel it, and then he quintupled the numbers, right? As a uh, he was a featured player for 3 shows before they made him permanent. The only person that ever did. Normally, you wait a year, right? See how your first year goes, they put you down. He was so good, they made him permanent, right? He made Joe Piscopo a star because they were boys, like getting the job. They got along, right? So he just threw Joe Piscopo and everything. 19 years old, went and then did it in movies too, right? Just kind of like a one in a lifetime kind of weird sense of humor. Hey, Milton Bananas, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the donations. I'm trying to rank up all the donations because what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a giant mansion, right? And then I'm going to fill it with puppies. Then I'm going to fill it with kittens. Yeah. So thank you. That's going to come in handy. See, you like it. Milton gets me. Sorry. Uh, Again, I have this set for 7, and every time I do that, my friends tell me that it's annoying to the. But normally, I'm not streaming when that goes off. That's going to go off again, so I'm going to put it over here in this shirt pocket. Actually, why don't we just put it here on this chair, and then cover it with the sweater. Yeah, let's do that. It's going to go off in 5 minutes. Karen Johnson. Who's Karen Johnson? Karen Johnson, dude. That's like saying Bob Jones, and everybody goes, "Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about." Karen Johnson. Who's Karen Johnson? Uh, the Democrats are falling apart. That's one that's happening. And I don't know who Karen Johnson is, but I know that Rachel Maddow is taking leave of absence, and Morning Joe is going to be 6 hours long now. So I'm over here laughing my head off. I was supposed to be on Twitch tonight. Why can I get my act together? I used to be good with schedules. I used to never be late. I don't even know what happened. Let's look up Karen Johnson. Uh, Karen, Miss America, who was only 30, jumped out a window. I don't get it. A million Karen Johnsons. All right, this ought to be good. What did she do? Politician and American who served as a public member of the Arizona House of Representatives, Arizona, 1997 to 2008. Karen Johnson. There's a trillion Karen Johnsons, it says. Yeah. 4 hours of morning, Joe, because they don't have any programming. Yeah, I mean they don't care. What they're doing is trying to sell you what you want. right? And this is the thing about the American media, which makes me crazy. They they push racism till it was inconvenient. Now they take laps about not being racist, right? But they push sexism, and now that it's inconvenient, they're sitting over here talking about girl power and all this stuff. They're always just kind of like, I mean, they get the rich people gaslight us, and the gaslighting apparatus is the media, right? The media is always telling you oh, Karen Johnson is Whoopi's. I thought her name was Denise. No, Denise is Queen Latifah. All right, let's go. Um, let's see what she said. Whoopi Goldberg, Karen Johnson. You're killing me. All right. Um, Whoopi Goldberg apologizes and seemingly doubles down on Holocaust comment. Apologizes and doubles down. Here's your problem. I'm gonna let's get into this because no one's gonna fire me, right? Um, Here's the thing. Did Hitler kill all those Jewish people because they were a different race? Or did he kill them because they were a different ethnicity? This is what you're essentially asking. And now, mind you, I am from New York. I've had words with Jewish people. I have heard what I would consider absolute bullshit because people are full of shit when they're talking nonsense, right? And black people. I've heard black people be full of shit. I heard Latino people be full of shit. Heard the Jewish people be full of shit. Uh Always trying to like kind of. I guess we all do our own. What's the word I'm looking for? uh PR for our group, right? We black dudes aren't this. Someone may go, we Asian men aren't that. Like we Latino women aren't this. We Asian ladies aren't that. We all do our own sort of like PR for our own group, right? Because nobody wants to go, yep, that's my group. We're all assholes, right? Nobody wants to do that. Um, hey, John Ardmore, good to see you. Morning Joe is a better show than many of the same type. Beyond the chatter, they have a few people who actually know stuff about various topics. Come on. None of the shows on cable or on network TV are actually outstanding, though. Hey, yeah, I had to think about. Okay, I was off of the jag about supporting your own group, and there you go. That ought to be the one. There you go. All right. Jesus Christmas. So I need to get into. You might think I have one too many chairs here, but I really don't. This one's just tall enough for the keyboard. That one's just small enough for all the tables. I can't get in. I can't. Why do I have to explain myself to you? Uh, I just look crazy. I'm not crazy. I can't, but I really can't game in this chair here. So this is good for podcasting and playing guitar because this one has arms on it, and this one is good for everything else. So let's stick that over there. Let's not break that. All right. Um. So what was I saying? Did Adolf Hitler, white guy, Europe, right? Did a white European guy kill all his countrymen because they were a different race or a different ethnicity? Right? I mean, you could argue that with, and then that's what, because I've had this argument um before about like with Jewish people, like not arguing because I'm not gonna impose something on you, but I'm like this. I don't understand that, right? As someone who deals with racism and people whose people is have this giant banner across their history, right, about race, and I was like, wait, are you a race? Not race, but are you a religion, or are you like a race of group of people? And it's kind of like both, and I'm like, no, right? Because and this is where I got into trouble again. Luckily, I mean, I'm not luckily, but I'm not taking any endorsements on any commercial. I'm not going to lose any subscribers. I've only got like 9, right? But the idea is I can go, how are you both, right? I mean, because the Christians were persecuted, right? That was an ethnicity essentially. But they were all Romans or whatever, right? There weren't that many variations of groups back then, right? And a lot of them were just poor Romans who became Christians. I saw this thing yesterday about what the Romans of the time said about Jesus. Oh man, it was so good. They were like, his mother was a pregnant teenager. They called it tossed out by her parents. And they called him Jesus of Pantera because they said his father was a Roman soldier named Pantera. So instead of Jesus saying Jesus, Son of God, they were calling him Jesus, Son of Pantera. And I was like, but it's all stuff of the time, just kind of like they only believe in one God. I mean, like, what kind of fucking how poor are you to only believe in one? Right? And it's just amazing. Um, but not everybody loves Jesus, right? No, when he started or now. And it's just amazing what people say about it. The Joe and Mika banter are a bit much. I like when Mike glares at Joe. A lot of it is shtick. It's confusing to many people. True, Panther. I've never heard of that. Yeah. Here's the problem with Mika and Joe. Um, they're selling you outrage all the time, right? It's why I stopped watching, and I was like, MS. I was saying this 8 years ago. MSNBC is the same as Fox News. They're not telling you any truth. They're trying to push you and keep you voting for whatever side they want you to vote for. They're telling you just as many creative stories as Fox News is. We're in this place because the American media is the same shit show all over the place. It's not like MSNBC is better. Having said that, I want you to look at the culture. They met and got married there in a place where sexual ridiculousness is rampant. No one asked them about this, right? They knew all these people and they're engaged in the behavior. Why would you trust them to be anything else other than made men in that cartel of bullshit? Everyone is sliding to this media, internet media, because no one trusts the news. So now they made stars and like this is how stars go, right? You, John, I like you. I go, John. Oh, you're awesome. Let me put you on TV. And I don't know what you do, John. So let's say you're a baker, no, a grocer. Let's say you like night grocer, and you've got an opinion, and you're witty with the people, and we like you. We put you on TV. After 10 years, you're making $30 million a year. You're selling all these books. Da 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 da. Now, to get there, you had to be like, oh yeah, this is how you play ball. So and then you come to the right. All of a sudden, we can't live without you, and that's what they had with Rachel Maddow, right? They they essentially made her. She used to be one of those pundits who would come on people's shows and give their opinion and then go away. And then she came back. She was really popular. Then they gave her a show. Then her show took off. All in an era where they needed you to hate George W. Bush. Remember that? And Keith Olbermann built it. So, I mean, now 20 years later, you're trying to keep the outrage going, but you get people look. If this is a fight, there's only going to be so much. What the fuck are you gonna do? Well, what the fuck are you gonna do? Oh, well, what the fuck? Eventually, even the people standing around are gonna go. Is anything gonna? I'm going home. I'm just gonna leave. And that's what's going on here with the parties, right? Is something gonna happen? Nothing's gonna happen. I'm going home because I've been outraged. I've been waiting. I've been expecting if this is going to be a fight or a savior comes through. We win, right? What is winning? Whatever that is, but nothing ever happens. We're all just perpetually complaining. Now the Democrats are talking about Trump coming back, and they're more talk about uh, these cases like he's going to be indicted. And I've been saying forever he's not going to be indicted. These people. Why do I know American judicial system better than they do? He's not going to be indicted. Meanwhile, all this talk, they're completely talking around all the sexual shit, right? Because it also tarnishes them, right? So now all this girl power, girl power, girl power stuff has run its course in the era of Me Too, right? Because you had a lot of guys who I've got, like I said, I've got a ton of nieces and sisters, not a ton, I got two sisters, but I got a ton of nieces, right? And I'm for that kind of shit. I don't think women should be preyed upon, but at the same time, don't tell me women don't lie. Don't tell me women don't sleep with their bosses, all this other shady shit. Believe all women. What? That means anybody can come and just point their finger at me. Well, hold on. I'm your ally, but now that just sounds like bad. Now you've lost some of those people who were your allies, right? Going back and forth while you're not talking about like it's only men you concentrate on. You're not talking about the women who play this game, their bad behavior, because you can't wait to say, "Oh, so and so is getting married to this guy, and he's the quarterback, and she's so supermodel. Oh, let's follow them. Oh, look at the kids. Oh, look at the divorce. Oh," and it's that, right? So it's the same reason Hollywood won't say shit about guns because they have guns in every movie, right? Just like they won't say shit about into the sex life because they throw sex in every movie, right? But they're out here talking about gay marriage, like this is the thing we can fucking come out for that doesn't cut our throats. And we can just give lip service to all the other stuff. Women being sexually harassed at work. We're going to give lip service to women's empowerment. We're still not going to hire these blacks. We're just going to go and get people who look like them from England because we don't even want to fucking deal with these niggas. Excuse my language. Um, right. So you see all the ways to get around it and you're not impressed by it. And now here we are, an election year. I see Michelle Obama talking about her voting rights campaign and who's going to help her. I forgot the guy who's going to help her with. And I was just kind of like, where were you? Right? You have to shore up your gravy train. And in America, to keep your gravy train, you have to include the voters. I think the American establishment would love nothing more than to get rid of the voters and do whatever the fuck they want. But in a land of guns, that's going to be hard to do, right? Um, yeah, so I think the elites used to do this all the time, but there wasn't phones and you know, you didn't have to sell to everybody. There was three networks, and there was a handful of. There were three seats at the not the table, but there were three, broadcast seats that you had to listen to. Right, Walter Cronkite had one. Dan Rather had another. Um, who's the guy on Channel 7? Right. So you've got everybody. You've got me out here sitting here talking, telling you that you're full of shit. And just because I'm out here, or rather, just because I'm out here criticizing you does not mean I don't know what I'm talking about. Especially since I've been calling this shit right for about 10 years now. Yeah, Peter Jennings. And Peter Jennings, you know, Canadian, he went down to the civil rights thing. And if you watch some of his civil rights coverage in the early days, before the media, before they killed, because the media wasn't for this shit. But it was a story that they followed, right? He was not a fan of Dr. King, just like no one was a fan of Dr. King until 3 years after they blew his brains out, right? But until then, he was an uppity nigga and a troublemaker, riling up our what did they call them? The black people in the South who were in pocket, who wasn't the good ones, but I forgot they had a name for them. I forgot what it was. Anyway, it is what it is, right? So you've got your community organizer president who after he gets your vote and you lump on board with faith like you said, you give him your faith, you give him your vote, and you haven't seen him since. He's in Martha Vineyards on billionaires yachts because that's where community organizers are. What? Shut up. Sick of this dude. And now they're back talking about we need you to show up. Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. And the thing about it is it's about hatred because the Republicans aren't running on anything. They really aren't. And Trump said he's gonna pardon all these people. You could have did that before you were out of office. So now it's a bribe. hey, you know what? Now, and all these people who like what they're still looking for are going to vote for him because they may pick me up this summer, right? Oh, please let me get through this summer. Let me get to election day so I can get Trump in here so he can, you know, and it's been done before, right? Jimmy Carter with a pen pardoned all the draft dodgers who went to Canada, every single one of them, whether they were in jail or whether they were still in Canada, they were able to come home, right? Presidents can do that shit. Ronald Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers with a stroke of his pen. It's a federal gig. You're fired. You want to go on strike? Yeah, fuck your strike. You're fired. 80,000. Was it 80,000? It was a lot. No, was it 80? I think it was like 20,000. Uh, we're gonna look up that Whoopi Goldberg thing. The air traffic controller strike. How many people? Perhaps the most important and then highly controversial domestic incident was the firing of air traffic controllers August 1981. The president invoked the law striking government employees forfeit their jobs, and an act that unsettled those who cynically believe no president will ever uphold that law. Yeah. These presidents don't side with you, they side with the money and their fucking friends, and that is the problem. He was one of the worst presidents in our history. Sorry. Just because you've got this, what is it, this public romance going on with his wife, that I don't see how that affects you. The murder of the middle class began 40 years ago. I would agree with that. Yeah, 40 years ago. Yeah, I'd agree with that. About 1975 was when it began to get ridiculous. Um, how many of them were there? 13,000. 13,000 people. What did I say? 80,000? I was way off. All right. Whoopi Goldberg is in deep shit and should be fired, ABC insiders claim. People do worse shit. They're gonna tell. And I also say this again, know who's going to fire me. It also shows who has power. If I can go, Jews, 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 and I'm fired the next day, then the Jews have power. If I go the blacks or the gays or the Mexicans or the whatever, and I don't lose my job and I may have to give an apology, but if I do it the other way, I'm definitely fired. Then there's a power there, right? This is why I tell people all the time. Yeah, I don't think black people can be racist. I think we can be bigots and assholes and all that, but a racist can get you fired from your gig, right? Get you arrested and thrown in, right? I may not like you, I may hate you, but I don't have any power to do anything to you within the establishment other than take violence into my own hands or fire you if you work for me, right? And that's the power, right? People are always trying to walk down this power so they can, say it's not as bad as it was or is or whatever. Tucker Carlson should not be on fucking television. He's and now when all the goofy shit happens, for all the media people to claim that, wow, how did we? I don't even know how we got here. Like those people who ran up on the media stoked this all through the Obama years, right? Stoked nudge, nudge, wink, wink, racism, right? All those guys are racist. Black people can't vote. Oh, you got to vote Obama, right? Meanwhile, you're selling to both parts. It's like the gun peddlers to the gangs selling Uzis to both sides. That's the newspapers selling outrage and scorn and whatever. They don't have a philosophy, and that's a problem. Um, good lord, I could go for fucking coffee. Excuse my language. I'm supposed to be quitting cursing. What did she say? I want to know what she said. Because I've mentioned that on this show before. Like, I miss having like a wide variety of friends where I could go and ask my Jewish friend, you know, hey, can I ask you this about? Yeah, go ahead. Because I've had friends go, hey, can I ask you this about why do black? What's with the pants? Why you're off? Why is your butt hanging out? What is that, right? All right, let me explain to you why that is a thing. um, because you can't ask a total stranger because it comes across as none of your business, or you're not gonna. There's something about getting information about inside information from like a homie that you like or appreciate. What is this? Twitch is all over the place with their black creators, black brilliance, black. You know what? Let me again tell you what the civil rights movement was about before, because the civil rights movement is over, right? Uh, and it was not about being put on Twitch's front page because you're black. That's racism, by the way. It really is. It was like, leave us alone, let us build, stop attacking us, give us fair deals, and stop being openly racist and closetedly racist. Keep an eye on the cops and these banks, and let us thrive. Right? Let us educate our own children, when we can't, fund these schools. That's what it was. It wasn't about giving somebody a show on Netflix, right? So yeah, it's good for that one black director, right, or whoever the fuck ever. I mean, and I'm watching all these people talk about. You know what? The only way I can explain this to you is if there was all these Palestinians walking around Israel talking about how everything is fine and things are great. Oh, it's only racism because the bagel that I got didn't have enough of this or that on it. Or that guy looked at me funny and that was racist. Or I don't like this turn of phrase and that was, versus what's going on over there. And that's what's going on here. Window dressing the whole problem. And now all these old, you know, storied black organizations that's supposed to keep an eye out to make sure that, have been co-opted and corrupted too since the 80s by the Clintons, by the way, in my opinion, definitely by the Clintons. But since the 80s, now everybody's telling you black power is voting. You have to vote. Oh, you couldn't vote in the past, and oh, your people vote. And I tell people all the time, yeah, yeah, now you can vote or not. Yeah, that's your right to sit home if you wanna. But the idea that it wasn't a you have to vote law, you fucking idiot. And that's gaslighting me too. Because you're telling me if I vote Republican, I'm the worst black person ever, right? But I have to vote. Ergo, I have to only vote Democrat. For who? Joe Biden, who I call, don't get me even started on the Joe Biden thing. Those of you who have been following us for a while and follow me on Ted's broadcast, and following some of my own stuff before I was on this restreamer, if you go to my YouTube page, it's how there. Oh, that's where all the bodies are buried. Um, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I mean, and here's another thing. If I'm your ally, if I'm supporting you, I need to know what I'm supporting, right? So I said this before on this pod too. I support LGBT, right? I was like, lesbian gay rights? Yeah, I'm for that when I was 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, lesbian gay, and then they threw another one on the bisexual. Yeah, okay, fine. All right, I'm for that. Right, in my 20s to 25 to 30s. Then I look up one day and there's lesbian, gay, and trans. And I was like, wait, what? And then I really began to think, how do I support this group? Right? If you keep adding on things, don't I get to reevaluate when my support for you dries up? And now all those people are going, no, you're just a racist. What about all the shit I did before? All the none of that matters because, so you didn't care what I you yeah, and that's where we are, right? It's the idea of all the people in the Democratic Party are flinging arrows at each other in the tent. Right? So you got issues with the blacks and the Latinos, you got issues with the blacks and the Asians, you've got issues with blacks and the wealthier people. You've got issues, which is I think is a construct with white women in the Democratic Party. Like somehow they're sort of separate from white guys, right? And the white women and the black women are somehow what? Wait, what? So what did the women cure all these issues and not tell the guys? What? So yeah, the whole environment just seems to be just kind of apt to fall over because none of what's going on makes any sense, and none of the allyships in my mind, make any sense either. Right? So you're telling me I need to be allied with these people, but I don't trust half of what they stand for. And you're telling me they're my allies when they're the ones who take the most shots at me. But we're all supposed to fight these wars and march these marches, and when we're here at home, we're supposed to be dutiful voters to fight another fucking war against the Republicans and vice versa. And now everybody just kind of like, I'm what? I just what? Who's in charge here, right? And I've said this before. What you're running is two countries, so you can keep outrage going, so somebody can vote. What's going to happen is someone's two of these things cannot coexist. We're either going to be uh, this liberal twerking ridiculousness, or we're going to be this conservative guns every place, uh, bullshit adherence to Christian values. Because remember, the conservatives are always plotting racist bullshit, right? They're like ISIS just with Christians. Um, and I can make an argument that the Muslims are like that because of the Christians of Europe, right? Could make an argument. I won't. So, Whoopi Goldberg's comments. It's about white supremacy, and now we're talking about white supremacy again. But I mean, ah, what is okay? Before we even, what is white supremacy? Somebody tell me what white supremacy is before we have this long conversation about it. Right? It's like if we were talking about love. Tell me what love is. Right? And you go, oh man, love and da 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 da. And then I go, you ever cheat on your wife? You go, oh yeah. I'm like, wait, well, then you obviously have a different definition of what I would consider love. Or maybe that guy who's like, oh, what once you're an amateur, I cheat on my wife all the time. Right. Then you're like, oh, I guess but what love is I keep, and then it's just kind of like, is that what love is? So now you have to get to the point where, you know, I hate to say what is, but we're getting down to the definition of what the actual definition is. And people like to play fast and loose with definitions all the time, and I hate that. Because I like definitions. It means something, right? Um, okay, so let's start. Whoopi Goldberg continued to receive criticism and provoke debate. And mind you, but before we get it really into this, America loves a mob. It always has. So all this Twitter mob shit is par for the course. Who are these anonymous people? Right? And some can be like orchestrated as well to to be outraged at you. Like now there's an outrage machine at Joe Rogan, right? There's an end goal there. Um, and they're having you, what is it? The enemy, my friend. So they're gonna get you ginned up. They used to do this in the slave days for black people who were successful. If the neighboring white guy wanted his property, he'd get the Klan to go kill him, then buy that land and property for pennies off the dollar now that the guy was gone. Right? It's not new. So they're outraged, and then they call their friends, and their friends write stories, and they're hitting these right. They wanted to get the trend because people are tactical like this. Um, and then you get this person gone, right? Or or somebody more favorable to you. The Twitter mob, yeah. Whoopi Goldberg continued to receive criticism and provoke debate Tuesday after an appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, where she elaborated and some say doubled down on her take on the Holocaust and Jewish identity. Her take on the Holocaust and Jewish identity? Okay, her take on their identity is irrelevant, but I think she's allowed to have a take on the Holocaust because people are always giving you their take on fucking slavery. And like I always say, look, if no one kills your kids and you can build skyscrapers and colleges in America, you are not oppressed. Right. And the things I said happened to black people. We've never built a college. Well, I can't say college, but we've never built a skyscraper in this country, right? The idea of skyscraper is my point is that you get people to back money, you get bonds, you get organized financially to do this thing right. It's an undertaking. Um, we've never done that. All other groups have. What is oppression? I could fucking talk to you about it for hours. And it has nothing to do with a nightstick and beating somebody. It's all this but mind you, racism is a $1 trillion industry. So anyway, let's get into the where she doubled down on her take on the Holocaust and Jewish identity. Jewish identity. Who wrote this again? James Hibbard. He's a TV entertainment reporter. His last three stories are Star Trek New Worlds, showrunner confirms a con link or something. I don't know what that means. The Godfather TV. There's a TV series about the Godfather. The movie's 50 years old. Let it go. Whoopi Goldberg apologizing seemingly double. All right, so he's writing. Okay, apologizing seemingly doubles down. And this is the thing. I said this a few weeks ago too. The idea that if I'm sitting up here talking about Jews and I go, here's the thing about Jews. Jews do duck dances in a funny hat. If I know a Jewish for a thing, go, that's not actually true. And I can go, oh, really? Then you can have a conversation about it. Versus 1 trillion people demanding that you go away forever. And then and then waiting for the next person to demand that they go away forever. Who are these people? And you should have more conversation to go, what? No, that's not true. Right? I've had a ton of these conversations with people who came to New York from, all white towns and had to be like, that's not true. And we don't do that. And where'd you hear that shit from? The last time we had to do it, my ex, uh, her brother's wife was from Japan. And she was just all wrong about black people. And she would say the wildest shit, and we all would have to be like she would say, like, someone sent her a cliche book of black people, and she was always spouting this shit off, and we were like, "What? No. What? No. That's not right at all. Don't no, nobody does that." Right? She'd have to believe any negative anything. This is crazy. Um, it is what it is, baby. Alright, so it's a game of enlighten people. If I'm wrong, go, man, and you can tell me I'm wrong. I mean, hopefully you'll tell me I'm wrong in a way that gets your point across and changes my mind about something versus you're a dummy, you're a fucking idiot. What that doesn't change. That just makes people angry at you, right? But if especially if they're your homie, they can go, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? This is happening all over the place with gays, for instance. Yo, man, can't fuck with no gays, man. Why? Why do you think gay guys think you're pretty or something? They're gonna think, man, nobody think about you. You just right. Then it's all that, and then your boys give you shit about it, and then when they're not around, you go, man, maybe I'm just being fucking stupid. And then in a few years, you're not. I'm about to say gay phobic, homophobic, right? And the same thing with Jews. I heard that Jews did this, or I heard that the blacks did that. I heard that the Latinos did this. Oh man, you an idiot. Don't know, but because the people closest to generally gave you these bullshit ideas about race and nonsense, right? And that's generally how you do it. Peer pressure. Good old fashioned peer pressure. Rub some peer pressure on that bitch. I heard black people do this. Man, what is wrong with you? Right? Don't say that out loud. You embarrass yourself. Ha ha. And then you're like, yeah, I guess I'm wrong. And you look around, it's not all what I thought it was. And the people who told me this shit in my formative years of 8, 9, and 10, I guess it's stuck. And otherwise you can do what all these other guys are doing about it, getting in all kind of tweet trouble and losing your highly lucrative gig. Yeah, make sure the people that you go for deserve to be gone after, and make sure you're not being used as a pawn by the Twitter mob or the Razziazzi or whatever they call them. Her taking the Holocaust. So uproar began Monday. The View host and moderator discussed Tennessee school district voting to pull Art Spiegel's Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel Mouse, which is about the Holocaust, due to inappropriate language and nudity. Let's be truthful about it. It's because Holocaust isn't about race. Goldberg said on the View. It's not about race. It's not about race. It's about man's inhumanity to man. Look, when I was a kid, people would say shit like the Holocaust didn't happen, and they wouldn't get fired. This is the this is the mildest shit ever, right? Let's go through this. She essentially just said what I said. And granted, I can absolutely be wrong, but I think it's probably what's taught. Just because, again, we're taught about race, black, white, skin color, um, in this country. And quite frankly, we really don't say the Holocaust. We run through it in a glory type uh telling of it in junior high school, in high school, as the American government tells the citizens that we went out into the world even though we didn't want to because without warmongers and we saved Europe. That's the way it comes across. Doesn't come across as, oh, we went to and then there was this Holocaust thing. And let me tell you what and why this happened and how these people got this far into this horrible thing long before. They don't do that. So why should she know? It's like what they say about the rappers. Like all of a sudden the rapper gets and they expect them all of a sudden to be like this Harvard Rhodes Scholar about all this gay shit, excuse my language shit, but gay shit or white shit or other like country rock and roll shit that other groups of people who are now looking at him thinks he should have. And I'm like, the dude is from the fucking projects, right? Making you a cup of fucking mint. Stop acting like he should. It's like these football players too. Yeah, they all have college education, but you know what I'm saying? Do they really have college education? I'm not going to say that they don't have college education, but I believe the amount of them who actually earn a college education coming out of the NBA draft or the NFL draft or any of these other drafty places, drafty places. If there was 100 of them, I would wager half of them don't, and that's a kind wager because I'm thinking maybe 25% of these people actually earn their college degree, right? What do you want me to tell you? Um, Cartel of bullshit quotable to everything there's a season. Yeah, turn. Amen to that. I wish I would have said that earlier. A time to everything under heaven. You are absolutely right, man. Um, Max Robinson, ABC. I remember that Max Robinson. He was the black dude, right? The view. Those, I mean, oh man, those the view with Whoopi, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and True Armor. Yeah, you are crazy. I'd be yelling at them bitches all day. They would drive me. I It would be a payday because after you sign the contract, I would walk in. The seat wouldn't even get warm. And they'd be like, and let's talk about. And I'd be like, all right, first of all, bitches. No, I wouldn't say bitches. I'd be nice. But I think the first thing they'd say would be, it would be something innocuous too. It'd be like, you know, the best ice cream is pralines and cream. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Cookies and cream, peanut butter ice cream. I've got infinite options for you. So yeah. So this doesn't seem like the Holocaust didn't happen and right? Like it used to be. This seems like it's not about race because white people did it to white people, which you can easily go, okay, then what was it? Man, inhumanity to man. If you could say that, then you could say American slavery wasn't about race. It was about man's inhumanity to man. It's such a bullshit statement. It's like rape isn't about power, it's about man's inhumanity to woman. Like, shut up. What is your solution here for the issue we have other than you out here hallmark carding it and sloganeering? Good lord. But yeah, like I said, I've had this conversation with my Jewish friend before, so I'm familiar with it because I've been called out on it, right? Um, and here's the thing: you don't just buy a new philosophy because they tell you, but you get to know where they're coming from because someone you like is going, nah, this is how it is. And you go, oh, okay, right. Um, yeah, some of it is still an issue for me. Like, I'm like, how are you from the Middle East? You're all white and your parents are from Germany and your last name is Baumgarten, right? No, 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 no. We're from here. These the home of our peoples. I'm like, so we get into that kind of thing, right? And on my end of it, it's like, yeah, you owe me reparations. I don't think we did. And I'm like, no, you personally don't owe me reparations, but the government owes me, and you should support that shit. Yeah, but then nobody. And let's talk about reparations since it's Black History Month. Just in a nutshell, the idea that John Ardmore or William Conway has to send me a check is bullshit. It has always been bullshit. This is what they tell white people, so you can be against it. The government owes me, and if the government can run around demanding other people pay for, like Germany, for what it did to the Jews and uh the people who uh, the Armenian genocide, right? The government wants the Armenians to say that they did it. They wanted the Chinese, the Japanese to say that they kidnapped all those Chinese women and marched them around during the war to rape them, so the guys could have something to do when they weren't fucking fighting a war, right? America should, but no, it keeps going to Europe, land of nothing but white folk, bringing them back here where they never, and then telling them, no, everyone else worked hard and got here fair, and those guys are lazy. Oh, now, by the way, what do you think of those people? Like I told you, just told you about the woman who came from China. She had a whole bunch of cliche racist nonsense. And I'm like, why are we letting racists in the country? She broke up with my friend's brother, and then she moved to Montana with this thick ass Chinese accent in the middle of America. I had to defriend, I had to unfriend. I was just kind of like, I can't even with this stupidness. I can't even follow. First of all, how did you end up in Montana? America lets I want you just had a war with these people, and then their kids will live here and outpace you. And in my instance, call me out my name, which is, But in your instance, you just fought a war against them too. Now they're here punking your family. So America, America's. I'm looking at people use racism to get ahead in America all the time. They ally themselves with racist people. I mean, like I said, the Democratic Party, people are throwing uh slinging arrows in the tent all the time. And now it's like, let's calm all down just enough long enough to vote. And it's like, I got other shit to do. I'm gonna be here doing God knows what. Peter Dinklage was talking about how Snow White is racist. And I'm like, we're on a Peter Dinklage thing just for a second. Uh they want to make a Snow White movie, and he said it's racist. He said he applauded them for hiring a Latino lady, but the other hand, you're gonna do some racist shit. Like, make since when are dwarves race like? And it's not racist, by the way. America is so in love with racism that everyone is the victim of it all of a sudden. Do you even know what racism is, Peter Dinklage? Being see, I grew up when the word was midget. That word is not used anymore. Um, uh, I think it was Little Prince Salman. They said, "Don't call us that. That's stupid." So I think the correct term is dwarf. But there are other people. I mean, what are you going to play the love interest against Julia Roberts? Shut up, right? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I get it. You know, everything for new young actors is, a guy in a Scully with a hoodie with a gun, right? Um, Scully, and a hoodie. Um, and everything for it's likely the same with Latino people, but what is it for Asian people? It's got to be harder. I saw what's his name crying about one of the guy from Harold and Kumar crying about the roles he gets and I'm like, racism have been around for a fucking long time. Welcome to the party, idiot. Now, it's just kind of like, what do you expect to happen? Uh you get I don't think if it was first of all, I don't think it was racism. I think but you get insensitivity. People are insensitive. I don't know. And this seems more like what it was, insensitive. Let's be truthful about it because Holocaust isn't about race. Goldberg said on the View, it's not about race. It's not about race. It's about man's inhumanity to man. Excuse me. Co-host Anna Navarro pointed out, but it's about white supremacy going after Jews. White supremacy. So now white supremacy is a buzzword. Anna Navarro is from Cuba. Second generation Cuban, right? There's a whole thing with that group that if you really want to get it, and I mean, no one deals with the issue. So now everybody talking, you could get a sense of what they're saying by the group that they represent, right? Like I'm talking stuff essentially with a New York angle from the civil rights era of the late 60s through mid 70s, middle 70s. By 1978, I was steeped in it, and it was too late to change me. And I've been this ever since. You're normally about who you're going to be by the time you're 10 anyway. So if your parents taught you crime and criminality, by the time you're 10, you're kind of a shitty person. You may not act on it, but you're always plotting against other people. And you will act on it occasionally. You absolutely will. Uh, but yeah, so let's go. But these are two white groups of people, Goldberg said. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is, how people treat each other. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, Jew, it's blah, 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 blah. But Goldberg's comments drew immediate backlash from some viewers. Let me guess, the Jewish viewers and Jewish leadership. Here's another thing. A lot of these leadership groups, like the Catholic diocese, they love it. Look, they love it. The Jewish community of New York will love nothing more than for me to go at a press conference and go, I think the Jews do X. Ooh, and let me raise money on, or we are always under threat. And let me tell you about our history. I get to be on TV and tell you about my book that I'm selling. And they can't wait. A lot of people can't wait to be offended in an information environment. So take some of that with a grain of salt. Um, the Anti Defamation League. Ugh. Yeah, Jonathan Greenblatt tweeted, "No, Whoopi, the Holocaust was about the Nazi systematic annihilation. But why though? But why? We know that's that. Look, no, Whoopi, the Holocaust was about the Nazi systematic annihilation of the Jewish people. Okay, first of all, the Jewish people were not annihilated because there's a lot of them in Israel right now. So the question then becomes: we know that the Nazis killed you, but why? 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 He doesn't answer that. He gives you a pat answer to be fucking, you know, up his skirt about the issue. Well, no, Whoopi, let me grandstand. It was your moment to be teachable. Instead, you come across as smug and arrogant. The Nazi systematic annihilation of the Jewish people. The question for why is rarely ever answered. Rarely ever broached. And do I remember why the Nazis thought killing off the Jews was first they thought they were all scummy, but they also thought they were all dishonest. So there's all this other stuff that when you talk about it, people don't want to be called on, right? Like if you say, yeah, there was slavery in America, but why? And you go, well, white supremacy, you go, yeah, but why did they? Because some people thought they were smarter, and then you get into it. Some people thought black people were stupid, couldn't read, thought we were criminals, right? All these things are why the reason that they give, but really there was an economic advantage to doing this. What was the advantage of killing all these Jewish people in I'm about to say Georgia, in Germany? It wasn't just hate. Better look it up. This is why I like talking to people. They dehumanize them and use this racist propaganda to justify. But was it really racist though? Propaganda to justify slaughtering 6 million Jews. Here's the other thing about when Jews talk about the Holocaust, they never include anybody else in it. There were also 2 million gypsies, and I want to say 1 million blacks and others. Right? It wasn't just Jews they were wiping out. So, Like I said, I had this conversation a lot. I've had it before. Holocaust distortion is dangerous. Hashtag enough. The official Auschwitz Memorial Twitter account matches good. Look, look, look. She's getting messages from who else will be on this fucking. You know what I mean? It's about grandstanding with the online course. The grandstanding of some of these people. U.S. Holocaust Museum, which is also said to be Goldberg, which is what the U.S. Holocaust Museum, in what seemed to be a Goldberg subtweet, wrote racism was central to Nazi ideology. Jews were not defined by religion, but by race. Nazis' race belief fueled genocide and mass murder. See, this is a helpful tweet, right? You just told me something that most people didn't know, right? Um, Jews were not defined by religion back then, right? But by race. So yeah, okay, done, settled it. No one has ever told me that. That's an enlightening tweet. Because I was like, yeah, white people, race, but I'm looking at the race with the context of Western American. And remember, Germany's a European kind of whole flip show. And there are like three Europes, right? There's the English speaking Europe, there's uh German, Prussian, well, Germany is Prussian, but German, Yugoslavian, Czechoslovakian kind of Europe. There's French, sort of Belgian, sort of uh not the Nordic countries like Sweden, Switzerland, and Norway, right? And there's this tiny little bubble of English speakers, which is all on an island, right? Britain, Central, right? Anyway, um, American Jewish Committee CEO David Hatcher tweeted, Whoopi Goldberg absurd claims the Holocaust is about race. Nazi Germany considered all Jewish a subhuman. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, hold it. They're just grandstanding now. Consider all Jews a subhuman race. Yeah. Okay. But s- so you're saying the Nazis considered Jews a subhuman race, so that makes them a racial group? He might want to rethink his logic on that one. Uh, Nazi Germany considered all Jews subhumans. So the point is asking, it's not about race. She's saying it's because they're the same race. And he's saying they consider us a subhuman race, so we're race. See what I mean when you think about the shit people say in the context of what the question is? His tweet is a shot at him and his own lineage. That's why we want to exterminate the entire Jewish people. People include no, but that's not why they wanted to exterminate the entire. There was money things here and power things that they didn't like. People just keep acting like people just walk around going, "Ugh, I hate the Jews" for no reason, and that's not what happened. America. I mean, yeah, yeah, man. We should really talk about the power of America and what happened here. Uh and how we lost our way. An Israeli writer had a million. See, and the Israelis show up. So, are the Jews Israelis? Are the Israelis Jews? Are the Jews in America a fifth column for the Israelis who we made a country for in 59? What do you guys know about Israel? The first terrorist bombing was what? The Hilton in Jerusalem by the Israeli separatists. And then the Muslim was like, why don't we start fucking blowing shit up too? Does no one know fucking world history? Just me? Just me? All right, fine. Uh um all right. So the Israelis got in on this. Being Jewish means watching white nationalists call for your death. Yeah, what? Wait, that had nothing. See, now comes the grandstanding. What the fuck does that have to do with the question? White nationalists calls for everybody's death. They're called for white people's death too, right? They call them race traitors. What does that have to do with it? So far, the only good retort to this was the American Jewish Committee, CEO David Harris. He knocked it out the park with his tweet. Uh, the rest of these people are just fucking nonsense. Late Monday, Goldberg's tweet a formal apology, and like we all expected, crawl, crawl, crawl. Uh, yeah, I can't even with you right now. It's almost 8 o'clock. Let's check the chat. We're gonna need a bigger swear jar. Was I cursing a lot? Mm. All right. Oh, we're trying to stop the cussing and the fussing. Water, nectar of the friggin' gods. All right. I won't try to make my way. There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to find. Oh my God, we got 3 minutes. And if I try to make my way to an ordinary world. All right. So, in conclusion, what have we learned today? Uh, People, like I always say, they're trying to pimp you for emotional content, right? They want you to be outraged, but when you have a question, they don't want to ask. How dare you answer that question? You should know better. Da, 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 and then you get berated, but then you don't get the question answered, and you just made to feel bad about. But at the end of the day, the question was legitimate. America is doing this more and more to the citizenry. Who made that? That's Duran Duran, Ordinary World. And I won't try for yesterday. There's an ordinary world. Somehow, oh no, what the frick did I spell on my keyboard? I just had it. Here it is. If I try to live my way. Okay, I'm sorry. I've I've got an issue. It's not really an issue, but all of a sudden I'm kind of like laser focused on fixing it. But I guess I don't really have to fix it. Mm, at least not right now. What is that? Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh boy. Um. Let's close this. So, again, what have we learned today, boys and girls? You know what we learned? You're always being used for emotional content. You're always being, and if you look at the sky funny, there'll be 50 people willing to write you a tweet about it and tell you how you suck and how the children are going to suffer because of it, right? They won't get off their butt to help you. Um, so you should remember that. And also remember that people get it wrong. Stop acting like people have to speak what's the word? Oh, can't even get it up. People have to we got 25 seconds. People have to speak correctly all the time. And this is what it is. You're not even allowed to misword or misphrase it. Like everything is some sinister thing, right? If I said I love my homie, that leaves you open to all sorts of ridicule from the meatheads. Oh, you love a man, right? To people accusing you of illicit affairs and all this other stuff. People don't know you. They're all online just looking to get hits themselves, and then they'll write an article. This is going to generate a million people writing articles about Whoopi Goldberg, right? So the story is really being made to run by people who need to sell you more chaos and mayhem. What she said didn't sound too out of pocket. I get how the Jewish people could say, dude, you're wrong, but maybe you should make a mission of making that it instead of just showing up after you're offended with an army and saying how you don't have any power as people lose their jobs. If you can cause somebody to lose their gig, you have power in America. Mm. Letterman asked Red Fox if he had worked on Broadway before. Red Fox said he was a janitor there back in the day. Yeah, sounds about right. Right. Uh, I was back in those days. I was a porter. I was a shoe sign salesman. I was a bus driver. I was, it was what it was. What it was. It is what it is. Um, work on. I mean, people act like you got a shot to work on Broadway. One thing that pisses me off, like that show on Netflix, not Brexit. Brexit is England getting out of the European relationship, not Brexit. What is it? It was the 1800s. Say all these black people in fucking powdered wigs running around. I'm like, that's right there is revisionist history when you ignore actual history and then you do this. I talked to somebody and you don't educate people. I talked to someone and he told me that he thought the Underground Railroad was an actual Underground Railroad. And I just went, in the 1860s, the 1700s, all this time when people were escaping for like 100 years, you thought someone engineered an underground railroad with steam trains? Right? If I told you, and I know you were friends, if I told you that you were ill informed and I had to keep telling you that you were ill informed, how long are we going to be friends? Huh? Right? I told the story on this pod before. When I was about 16, 17, I went through this phase, right? I began to hang out at the church more. Everybody around was selling drugs and being ridiculous. They just wanted to go to parties all the time. I just wasn't where my head was. Uh, Started hanging out in church. I met a group of people who encouraged me in a totally different way, right? So I didn't know much about reggae music or classical music or into this, and I got into it. Like I got into like movie soundtracks. Why a movie soundtrack? I just thought it was movies on TV. No, no, no. You want to set up the pace on the movie and da, 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 da. I was like, I can never be. Oh, why can't you be a director? Why can't you be? I can really maybe I can't. Got you thinking about different things and the possibilities of doing other things because I didn't know what I was going to do. I was 16, right? Other people knew they were going to go to college and be da, 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 da. Didn't know it. Um, not explored my horizons. Expanded my horizons. New people did talking to people, not being told I was stupid because I was like, classical music is garbage. It's old. It's stupid. Right? Didn't go, you're old. You're stupid. They were like, have you even listened to any? Then how do you know? Do you like all R&B music? No. Do you like all rap music? No. But how do you know you'll hate all? Oh, well, I guess that's the. And then we went to a couple of shows and saw live music of the. And once you see something live, you go, yeah. And that's what this needs to be, right? And I think teachable moment is just a bullshit phrase nowadays. But yeah, I think you could have handled this a whole lot better about people who didn't know a thing, right? And like I said, you always trigger. Well, we had the Jewish House of Pancakes had a tweet about Jewish life, and they got like 9 likes. Oh, Whoopi Goldberg said something about the Jews. Now I'm tweeting. How dare you, Whoopi Goldberg? Don't you know that waffles are anti-Semitic and pancakes are the and you go, oh, well, and now all of a sudden people are like, absolutely. You tell them how House of Jewish Pancakes, and now they got like 10,000 hits or something. It's good for them. The outrage is good for them. So you got to watch that. You got to watch it. You don't want to be used by people knowing people make a mistake, right? If I tell a lady, um, "Oh wow, you look pretty," and everybody goes, "How dare you? This is the modern world. No one comments on ladies' looks." I should be able to go, "Oh, I'm sorry. I grew up giving compliments. I'm sorry. I won't do it anymore. Now I know, right?" That should be it. But what you're getting is he shouldn't be on TV. Well, how NBC, ABC, wherever I am, needs to be committed to change and women's issues, and right versus all these guys who are touching women at work, and people are like, "Nah, Bob's good." What do you stand for? I think I've asked this on this show too. What do you stand for? You don't got to tell me, but what do you honestly stand for? If the whole shit goes left, what kind of person are you? What do you stand for? What do you stand for? I'm not for disrespecting anybody. Definitely not my people, not the Jewish people, not the gay people. But at the same time, I'm definitely not being muscled into anything by anybody's group. Not my people, not the gay people, not the fucking Jews. Not even gonna go down that fucking rabbit hole. Right? I know enough about my history and everybody else's history to go, I don't think what you're telling me is legitimate. Or if you show up just with threats about you're gonna do it this way, then I'm just if I have to do it that way, I'm gonna do it so badly that you're not gonna want me to do it in the first place. Right? And that's this. The history of America's race and racism is absolutely different from uh, the Jews' experience, which happened there. But now we keep talking about it here and it happened there. What do we stand for? What are we doing? Is this thing ever going to go away? Are you going to raise money on it forever and talk about Hitler and fucking the Nazis forever? Right? I can make the same case about black people, about slavery. Because between you being the wallpaper, I'm like, we've been marching long enough. At this point, you should withhold all support for this system and work on your own group. We need colleges and more education, and we need more doctors. We can do that ourselves. We don't need any more help, America. You've helped out enough. Um, you're not getting that. You're getting more. Go vote for us. So that day is coming because no one does the same thing over and over and over and over and over again ad infinitum forever. Nobody. Um, what about Brian Flores, NFL? Brian Flores? What happened to Brian Flores? He is not going to be Brian Flores. He sues him. Multiple teams allege racial hiring practices. Well, now that he's sued, he's out of the game for good because no one's ever going to hire him in the NFL. But he should sue because the NFL is fucking racist, in my humble opinion. What makes me crazy is look, you work in a organization like this, and you were happy to work in that organization for all this time. You saw them be racist to other people, and you sort of kind of let it ride. And now all of a sudden, you want a fair day. Were you man? Were you around when Kaepernick? Look, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. What time is it? Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna go play video games. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, spoons and forks, matches and lighters, penises and vaginas. I'll see you the next time. The next time is gonna be tomorrow. Because tomorrow's Wednesday, and I wasn't here Monday. Well, today's Tuesday. I was about to say I wasn't here Monday or Tuesday. Uh, I wasn't here Monday. Uh, so I'm here Tuesday. Yeah, that checks out. I'll be back tomorrow. He should sue, but at the end of but that goes to what I've been talking about. Two 22 Cree. It go that Brian Flores sues the NFL. Yeah, all right. Look, I will be back tomorrow. I Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow, which is Wednesday. I'll likely be back Thursday, But if I'm not, I'll definitely be back here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, uh, I generally don't take 2 days off in a row unless it's the weekends. So I'm here. We need a name for this show. What is the name of this show? Especially with it'll have a name by the time we move the show. I gotta hook up the rest of this kitchen. So yeah, and now people want her to leave the View gig and all this other stuff. Like she's got a long history of being a racist asshat. I don't know. Two police officers killed at Bridgewater College in Virginia. Suspect arrested. Someone just killed two cops. I told you they were going to start shooting it out with the cops. I told you. Two campus officers killed at Bridgewater College in VA. Two campus police officers were shot and killed at Bridgewater College in Virginia on Tuesday afternoon. The college said in a message to its students and staff, a suspect was taken into custody a short time later, not far from the campus. The college, located near Harrisburg, identified the victim on campus as police officer John Painter and campus safety officer J.J. Jefferson. J.J. Jefferson. An alert sent to the Bridgewater community said that the two officers were close friends and that Painter was the best man at Jefferson's recent wedding. Wow. What the fuck? The two were close friends, and that Painter was the best man at Jefferson's recent wedding. This is a sad and dark day for Bridgewater College. College President David W. Bushman said in a message to the college community. I know we all have so many questions and not many answers. One thing I do know, though, is that we will rally around one another and support each other as we move forward from this day. That's all that hokey nonsense when nobody's got answers. Wow. Yes, there's panels in the back for a bulletproof vest. Um, no student appeared to have been injured. So why was he on camp? This is Virginia. Everybody's got a fucking gun. He's probably on campus, asked to leave. And he shot him. No student appears to have been injured. No student have been injured. Period. Several told the Washington Post they heard multiple shots from the area. Several. You mean several students? That should have been a comma then, right? Post they heard multiple shots from the area of Flory Hall, a classroom building on campus. Students and staff were ordered to shelter in place for more than 3 hours before being released. William B. Jefferson, the mother of slain officer Jefferson, said her son was a hard worker who loved his wife and family. I loved my son. I would hope so. And he loved us, she said. He went beyond to help people. He had just celebrated his 48th birthday Saturday. Saturday. His 48th birthday Saturday. Willie B. Jefferson said. She said that was all she could say right now. Jessica Painter, the wife of Officer Painter, declined to comment. Bridgewater College is a liberal arts school of about 1,460 students located about 140 miles southwest of Washington, just west of Interstate 81. Founded in 1880, it was the first co ed 4-year university in Virginia. Really? So all the other schools were for men or girls, right? Men or women, but none co ed 1880. All right. What about LA fireman shot at the fire? I saw that. I told you. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Because when shit goes bad, they shoot at firemen too. You know why? Because firemen are associated with the cops because of fire hoses and dogs. And every time you've seen these places in Europe, they've always got fire hoses on people. We don't use fire hoses in America. They still use them in Europe. We don't use them here. Anybody want to know why? I'll give you a fucking minute. This was the easiest thing I'll ever ask any of you. We don't use fire hoses here. Um, a number of students recounted the horror of the day, which started with shots being fired around 1:20 p.m. Kai Bowman, 21, returning to his dorm from campus lunch spot when he and his friends heard shots fired, sending everyone scattering. This is fucking Virginia, people. That's when my heart stopped, he said. I didn't know whether to run or hide. Hey, dummy, you're outside. You run. You don't need to hide if you're in a building. Look, listen. Whoever is listening to the tone of my voice, ah, it reminds me of September 11th when people were like, "Oh my God, what should we do?" And the 9/11 was like, "No, stay where you are." You could have, and they didn't know, but you told people to stay where they were, and they stayed where they were. So you always tell people to exit the vicinity because it could get worse, right? And it's not a crowd condition, so it's a stampede issue. So if you go, oh my God, boom, you go, yeah, yeah, just get it. This is why you like to keep it moving. Nothing to see here, people. Keep moving, keep moving. Yeah, that's why my heart stopped. He said, "This is the college first tweeted out of notice. They're not even telling us anything will happen." Casey Truslow, a 20-year-old senior from Lyndhurst, VA. All right, when he heard a pop up art, and he ran back to his dorm. Saying local federal law enforcement who spoke on the condition and because of the ongoing nature of it said police found the suspect along the North River. They don't say what happened. This is the how are you a fucking news person? Who, what, where, when, why, and how? They don't tell you any of that. They tell you who got shot, where they got shot, and that's it. Then it's, I'm sorry, he's got a wife. It's so sad. Just here's the school's history. Why did he get shot? You didn't tell me about the person who shot him. You say he was arrested. What's his name? What's his deal? Why did he shoot him? What are the circumstances of the shooting? But I'm supposed to trust you when you write a fucking news article. Idiot. I'm so beyond these people. It's just barricaded. Get out of that school. Take your chances. Save your own life. Because a lot of these people are weak sauce. Especially if you're on the first floor. Oop, drop my phone. Especially if you're on the first floor. I do not understand why nobody's hopping out of first floor windows in these schools. I get some people are physically just shit, quite frankly. Look, listen. People who were not physically imposing in the old days could still climb a tree and hop a fence. This is that. Like physically imposing is 5'1" and 90 pounds, and all the other boys are 6'4". You're not physically imposing, but you run a mile like they run a mile, and you ran the mile. Now people can't even run that mile, so you can't hop out of a window on the first floor to get away from a gunman. You better fix your shit, son. Um, water pressure. They didn't tell us why. Talked to both of his mother and his wife. Talked to us about 1,400 college students at a liberal arts college. Spoke to 4 21-year-olds who told you the same thing. One was coming from a restaurant. One was going to class. One was coming from class. You told us the college tweeted out a notice of shelter in place or some shit, but you didn't tell us what happened. Everybody took shelter. You told the state and local authorities couldn't tell you anything. How is this story ready for press? Because the firemen were spraying civil rights marchers. It was a bad look for the fire department ever since. They don't say why or anything. He killed two people, two campus cops, got them alive. Me and my black friends would go, what are the odds that that was a white guy? I wouldn't put money on it, but I would probably put money on it. I don't really gamble, but I would probably put money on it. One more thing before we go. So the Travis McMichael and his father wanted to plead guilty to federal hate crimes, take a bid of 30 years, and then do the 30 years first. They're going to serve them concurrently, which means at the same time, versus consecutively, which is once serve 30 years, then start your life sentence. But apparently they were trying to work this thing where they were like, all right, we're never going to get out of jail. Why don't we spend the rest of our jail in federal prison where it's nicer? So we'll do 30 years there, right? Dad is 80, so he's going to die in like a federal prison. And the son is 28, right? So by the time that he'll be 60 something, right? Maybe he'll fight this case and get out. But while they're fighting this case to get out for the next 15, 20 years or whatever it's going to be, they won't be in state jail, like state prison, where the raping and the murdering and the stabbing and all that bullshit takes place. So this is an acknowledgement by him and his lawyers that the federal the precinct, the justice, the jail system is a shit show, right? And they're going to use their racial connections to like avoid the worst of it and go to a nicer prison. It's also an acknowledgement of the prosecutors and the judge in thwarting this. Because if it was the same, they'd be like, yeah, fine, okay, whatever. But they're like, no, 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 no. We want to send you to the worst one. So this is an acknowledgement from all parties that American prison system is a gladiatorial fuckfest. Why don't you fix it? We won't ever be in there. We'll only be throwing you in the mine. So fuck it. Yeah, really. I don't know about that. I think I think this is gonna turn around on people in our lifetime. I really do. My whole thing has always been, why don't you just fix it? I'm watching people make money on Black Lives Matter, buying giant houses, and then just tell you to vote. I'm watching black candidates get elected to presidency on hope and change and doing nothing. I'm watching 80-year-old senators undo the will of the elected president for who he might want to sit on the nation's highest bench, right? So don't tell me it's sacred if you can do that in front of everybody. None of this shit that we all took for sacred is sacred. Now it's just told to us to be sacred so you can use it against us. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know what to tell you. That's it for me. I'm gonna go play video games. Um, come back tomorrow where we ugh, will likely have the TV and this computer up. I don't really. I have two machines here. Don't even ask. So we're quirky. You can be quirky. You can be interesting. You can be ridiculously. You can be ridiculously. You can. Well, we don't want you to be so unique as to be put in a mental institution, but you can be. So you ridiculously you that all others want to be you as well, and then you should encourage them to be them, because there can only be one you. Besides, if there were two yous, would you like you? I mean, one of you's enough. One of you's enough. Two of you would be great. No, I'm not that guy. I'm not saying two of you is great. I'm saying one of you is enough. But the one that is you should be the best you possible. And that's what I'm looking for. All right, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, boys and girls, this is the second one. We're out. Two truths. Two truths? Two trusts. Two truths. Two me's? You don't want two me's. Trust me, you do not want two me's. Uh yeah. We were talking about changing the name, right? In my community, everybody has a nickname. See, you're about to get a nickname too, William. But everybody has one, right? It's just a thing we do. Everybody's got a nickname. Well, not everybody, but I would say if I had 100 friends, 75 of them have nicknames. And out of that 75, I would say there are 20 people who I only know by nickname. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're out of here. Take care of yourself. We will see you tomorrow. This is the third goodbye, the final goodbye, not the final goodbye, the final goodbye for this evening. Um, and yeah, let's grow this stream. We really do need a name for this stream. Don't we need a name for this stream? Uh I was offhandedly calling it the Sean Show. It's the Sean Show. It's the Sean Show. It's the Sean Show. I would do that to come in here and get everything set up. Do 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 do, and it would just sort of become like a running thing in my head to get ready for the show, like the alarms going off. It's the Sean Show. It's the Sean Show. Yeah, that's not going to be the theme, but I it's in my head. But yeah, we need a name for this thing once we move it over to the other thing. Please like and subscribe and donate. I'm using all your giant cash to build a giant starship to uh the part of the universe where puppies come from. And I'm gonna bring all those interstellar extraterrestrial puppies back here and make America better, which in turn will make the world better. I got a plan, man. I got a plan. All right, like and subscribe. I said we wanted to be streaming by the week. That didn't happen. I was going to stream today. The day's Black History, first day of Black History Month. I actually might do it anyway. Um, Maybe I'll put out a bulletin. Hey, I'm on Twitch. Come watch me get my ass kicked. But I gotta tell you, I'm tired. I won a game. Cha 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 cha. Cha 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 cha. I hate logos, he said. All right. Let's tilt that down. Ugh. Ah. There you go. That's your problem. Ugh. Always something. Always something. All right. So I am going to see you guys tomorrow. Likely between 6:30 and 7. 7 is a little late. I think we're moving that up again because we do this every 3 or 4 months. So likely between 6 and 7. And guitar. Actually, let's keep this over here because I'm gonna freaking be looking for it in about 10 minutes. Um, so yeah, corn pop. Corn pop. Is he down at the pool again? Is he looking for Joe Biden? Does he have a knife? Oh, corn pop. Oh, corn pop. Maybe that would be a great name. Corn. Is that a cereal? corn pop. Joe Biden is the worst. All right. We're leaving. What was I gonna say? My exit was about something. I thought I was telling them to beware of something before I left. But all right, that's it. Winter storm London pummels multiple states with heavy snow and ice. I'm so glad I don't deal in snow and ice anymore. Woo, sweet Jeebus. I miss having a dog though. Yeah, yeah. I would get my clock cleaned a lot in Counter Strike by these. They weren't five, but they were like 12-year-olds, and then they talk shit. And you're just kind of like, why are these children allowed to talk to adults on the internet? The hell is going on here? Come get your kids. Yeah. Netflix announces Love is Blind. Meet the 30 singles searching for love. Yeah, okay, you know what? If you cannot find love in the real world, what makes you go think you're gonna find it on television? Love is not dead, but I think people's energy toward love is. Um, Marriage is dead. You know, love is gonna be a thing. It's never gonna go away. But marriage was nice for the 600 years we had it. Michigan candidate says he opposes abortion after rape. Here's the thing about this thing. Whenever they talk about abortion, they always got these outlandish, like after rape. It's like, what are you talking about? That's what, how many of those are there that we're talking about? You come up with these wild kind of scenarios to go, you know what? You know what I mean? Uh, I don't know. It is what it is. I am out. I'm gonna go play some video games. I may make some coffee. Do I want more coffee? No, I don't want more coffee. I may actually call it a night and go to sleep. Uh that's it for us. We really should stream longer, but there's got to be game streams, and we don't really have anything else to talk about. We're not going to talk about Joe Biden, and we're not going to talk about putting a black woman on the Supreme Court. Because you could have done that, but you didn't really have to. Anyway, the murky finances of Black Lives Matter. Yeah, nothing gets done, but people get rich. Okay, I called it. All right, take care, guys. Uh, Thanks for coming through, Lady B. Thanks for coming through, William. Uh, Milton came through. Thanks for coming through, Milton. Thanks for the donations. Please donate. Give till it hurts. I'm trying to buy a Zeppelin, and we're gonna travel across the country. I'm gonna do this a lot more of these. We're gonna travel across the country playing klezmer music. So yeah, please donate, and I will. Thank you, William, and I will see you tomorrow at let's say 6:30, right? 6:30. Um, and get ready because gaming's coming sooner rather than later, but sooner rather than later. I got love for you. Take care of yourself. William, you in particular, watch that snow. Be careful. And we'll see you in the next one, homie. Peace out.